Meghan Markle gives the most embarrassing and cringy attempt to fight back against the Hollywood reporter that named her a dictator in high heels. It reads like Meghan Markle wrote it herself with her overly done word salad with a side of roasted chicken. Meghan apparently is a gardener, y'all, planting seeds for her employees and gifting them fresh produce from her garden and likes to feed them lots of yummy and delicious snacks. Remember that the reporter from the infamous Cut magazine interview, who described Meghan giving guttural, incoherent sounds, was also given a gift basket after she left interviewing Meghan Markle, only to find out that she was fired after Meghan Markle called her boss and complained. Now Meghan has enlisted her buddy Dan Wakefield, the former editor of People magazine who's now over at US Weekly, trying to be the new unofficial mouthpiece to set the record straight. But did it work? In my opinion, this was a complete and utter PR disaster, and it's only the beginning for Meghan Markle's downfall. You guys, we have a lot of juicy royal daily tea to get through today, so you know what to do. Sit back and relax, grab yourself a beverage, and let's get into the royal daily tea. Hello and welcome to the Royal Daily Tea. If you're new here, hi, my name is Michelle and we discuss all things royal with a side of facts and humor. I also have another YouTube channel, Royal Daily Tea History and Fashion, where we discuss royals from around the world, fashion, and other interesting topics. So if you'd like to check out my other YouTube channel, be sure to check out the link listed in the description. Now we just hit 36,000 subscribers and we are well on our way to hitting my goal of 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you like today's content and you have not yet subscribed, I hope you will consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. Now let's get into today's video. Now, let's not forget when the bullion allegations first came to light in 2021, just before the infamous Oprah Winfrey interview. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle said it was a calculated smear campaign by the British media and the palace. It was done to punish them for leaving for Megxit and using the media to silence them. But that wasn't true. Now we're going to go over Meghan's extensive history of bullying and how I believe the Hollywood reporter is just the beginning of the iceberg. This is definitely doing major damage for Meghan's reputation. Now she has bullion allegations on both sides of the Atlantic. So we know the Hollywood reporter is standing firm by their story and they have their lawyers on standby, but now the Daily Beast, y'all, has entered the chat to pile onto the bullion allegations. They also did a very scathing story about Meghan Markle, where her former employees called her a demon with psycho tendencies. Ouch. Now, the Daily Beast interviewed someone who did work for Harry and Meghan while they were at the palace, who labeled Meghan a complete narcissist. I mean, the fact she made her current and former employees talk about how wonderful she is kind of proven the point. They also added that she's a lovely person when everything is going her way, but a complete demon when the worm turns. Let's just say we can imagine some stiletto heels slamming on the tiles over there in Montecito, because things have not been going well for Harry and Meghan post Megxit. Think American Riviera Orchard, Spotify, and Netflix. You can just imagine the demon behavior that's been going on behind the scenes. Now, they tell the story of allegedly overhearing a conversation where Meghan was screaming at a florist over the phone, and the florist said that Meghan was so awful that no matter how prestigious it would be to have Meghan as a client, they would never work with her again. Now remember, Meghan had bullion stories even before she married into the royal family. The one with the caterer that I mentioned in my previous video, where Meghan screamed at her, accused her of using eggs in one of her vegan dishes, so much so that the Queen actually had to tell Meghan, "We don't talk to staff that way." Then there was the infamous story that Valentine Lowe mentioned in his book, how Meghan was a diva when she was dating Prince Harry, and she said to his courtiers, "One day I'm going to be your boss." Woo, doesn't sound like a very nice person. Didn't even have an engagement ring on her hand and was already telling people, "I'm going to own you." Then there was the 2016 commercial that she filmed for Reitman in Canada, where the director said she was, quote, the meanest person he had ever seen, and he would never work with her again. The crew hated her. They nicknamed her Princess. She was such a diva on the set, and this is before she met Prince Harry in 2016, that she demanded a bigger hotel room. People couldn't look at her. She made it known that she would not work 1 minute past 7 p.m. She demanded the script be rewritten, and she also informed the director that she had to be listed under an alias at the hotel because, quote, she didn't want to be photographed by the media. Now, he thought that was hilarious considering the fact that nobody knew who she was, especially in French Montreal. Again, this is a woman who thought her shite didn't stank, but we all know she stanks. So she was a diva even before she got with Harry. So her reputation has followed her with many people over many genres for years. Now, when Meghan finally married into the royal family, people who had worked for the royal family for years left under Meghan and Harry. She drove out over 10 employees in less than a year. You have to remember she married in May of 2018, and by December of 2019, she was already in Canada. She only did 72 actual royal engagements, but went through 10 people. And these were people who had been there for years, were crying at their desk and left in droves. So much so that Jason Knopf did that infamous bullion report. So you can't tell me it's not true. You have people on a commercial, you have people who work with her on staff at the palace, and then of course you got to think about all of those Spotify people, all those producers that she worked with. Even Rebecca Soninus didn't have exactly the nicest glowing report of Meghan Markle. She said, "I'm the one who did the podcast. I'm the one who did all the work, and producers are underpaid and underappreciated." It didn't seem like she left on great terms. Now just imagine all the people who are helping her with American Riviera Orchard and Netflix. Again, demon tendencies. So in my opinion, there are so many reports from so many different people. You have third-party vendors, you have florists, you have cooks. Just imagine maids, nannies, security guards, all of these high-level Archwell executives who are singing her praises. They're not exactly going to bash her publicly because that would be career suicide. In my opinion, she was probably lovely to a very few select people, but they also said she didn't take advice, she didn't take direction, and that is why it has been a major disaster for the past 4.5 years. If Meghan and Harry are such wonderful people to work for, why does nobody stay? Why does nobody stay? Archwell's only 4.5 years old and they've gone through 10 people. That tells you something. That's a huge ding, ding, ding red flag. Now let's read some of these glowing reports that US Weekly put out in defense of Meghan Markle. So Meghan Markle's piece from US Weekly was so sugary, sappy sweet that I literally have a cavity just reading it. Now, in my personal opinion, a person can be two things at once. They can be nice and they can be mean. I don't believe that Meghan Markle is Cruella de Vil 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm sure she could be a lovely person some of the time to some of the people. One of the people said that when things were going her way, she was absolutely lovely. She would give you fresh cut flowers and eggs and little care packages. But when things are going bad, she is literally a demon with psychotic tendencies, a dictator in high heels. And we all know that American Riviera Orchard, Netflix, Spotify haven't exactly been going according to plan. So you can just imagine that stilettos going back and forth on the tile floor of their Montecito mansion, and how people are trying to make themselves scarce, hiding in one of the guest toilets in their house. I would. Now, look, none of these people who are making 6+ figures, who are in very high positions, are going to publicly trash Harry and Meghan. Now, you might be able to take them out on a Friday night for some chips and salsa and margaritas, where they might spill the tea, but they're not going to do it publicly because it would be very bad for their career. Again, in my opinion, people get in and they get out as quickly as they can without being scathed by Harry and Meghan. Let's just read some of the funny quotes that these people have said. Now, Ben Browning was the former head of content who was responsible for getting Harry and Meghan documentary on Netflix before leaving in early 2023. Now, he said that his experience with the company was, quote, positive and supportive. Again, a very non-committal comment. And he says, we continue to be friends, meaning I'm not trying to burn a bridge here, folks. The narrative we've seen suggesting to the contrary, well, it's just untrue. It really is. Again, I don't believe it for a moment. And the one-time Chief of Staff Catherine St. Laurent tells Us Weekly that she too and the couple, quote, remain close, meaning she doesn't want to burn a bridge and wants to use them for a reference, and says the time I spent working for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle was incredibly meaningful to her, so much so that she left after a year. Then we have Josh Kettler, the recent person to leave the company after 90 days. He's keeping it profesh. I was warmly welcomed by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle during my brief stint. They're dedicated and hardworking. Gosh, it was so impressive to witness that I left after 90 days because he was so impressed out the door. Again, this man's trying to keep it profesh. He's trying to get a job. My favorite is Ashley Hansen, who was the global press secretary. Again, this is a woman who's only going to say good things about her clients. And she says, I couldn't have asked for more supportive bosses, and that when she had to take extended time off for a serious surgery, when I told them, I was met with the kind of concern and care that a parent would express to their very own child. You mean, did she leave you alone and abandon you for weeks at a time like she does her own children? Is that how she treats you, like a child? Again, that is a very bizarre reference for an employee to make to a boss, considering the fact they're kind of close in age and we don't ever see Meghan with her kids. Again, they're always trying to make Meghan, I'm a hugger, I'm a mom, I'm so sweet. They're always trying to make her warm and fuzzy, but she's like a porcupine. There's just nothing warm and caring that I've ever seen about Meghan Markle. Everything about this woman is a facade. She is a narcissist. Now, there was another woman who said that Meghan is just so kind behind the scenes, that they sat on the floor writing letters to Congress, and she just couldn't get over how nice Meghan was. Again, I am sure Meghan has her moments that she's nice, but we have seen too many people for too many years under too many circumstances for this not to have some truth here. So in my opinion, this article was a good try, but it failed. It failed to convey that Meghan Markle is a really nice person. In my opinion, it just showed that Meghan is desperate to do some crisis PR management with her buddy over there at Us Weekly, just like she does with People magazine. People are on to Meghan the way that they are with Batgrid. We all know that Harry and Meghan use People and now Us Weekly as their mouthpiece. In my opinion, this did not win Meghan any favors. I don't think it convinced anybody that she's a nice person. Again, all of these unnamed sources and current employees who are afraid to give their name, again, those are Meghan and Doria and Harry. I don't even believe they're real employees. This was so embarrassing and cringy, and I think it just blew up in their face. So what do y'all think? Do you think this did Meghan any favors? Leave me your comments, guys, down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope to see y'all in the next video. Bye, guys.